Cannabis belongs to the Cannabaceae family. However, originally, the genus Cannabis was placed in the nettle and mulberry family, and then later moved along with hops to a separate family, the hemp or Cannabaceae family. Cannabis is an annual herbaceous flowering herb with dense sticky flowers that produce the psychoactive cannabinoid chemicals known as THC and CBD. They are usually dioecious plants with imperfect gendered flowers on separate plants. However, they can be sexually labeled monoecious plants as a result of intensive selection and inbreeding and cultivation. Thus, cannabis can exhibit many sexual phenotypes that can be described in terms of the ratio of female to male flowers occurring in the individual. Although sex is naturally determined by genetics, environmental factors such as diurnal light cycles can play a role in altering sexual expression. Cannabis relies on air currents to spread pollen grains from male plants to female plant seeds, and thus is wind-pollinated. Cannabis can be propagated asexually through cloning using plant clippings and treatment with hormones such as auxin and ethylene. This process is typically done for large-scale commercial drug production and often results in reduced genetic diversity. It is believed that cannabis originally evolved in prehistoric Eurasia. Wild cannabis populations readily yielded seed, fiber, and drugs useful to early humans. Soon, cultivators began to collect and sow seeds from plants expressing traits that differed from the norm, such as larger seeds, taller stalks, and more THC resin production. As a result of their artificial selection, they initiated the process of domestication. Since there are no sterility barriers between cannabis plants, outcrossing and evolution of different cultivars occurred rapidly. Humans have artificially selected for traits like higher THC content and larger female inflorescences for drug cultivars. On the other hand, they selected for tall, unbranched stalks with long internodes for hemp fiber production, and large seeds for hemp seed production. The oldest documentation of psychoactive cannabis was in the 2,700-year-old grave of a Chinese shaman, and it was presumed that it was used as an aid in enlightenment. Cannabis is first referred to in the Hindu Vedas between 2000 and 1400 BCE, and by the 10th century CE, it was referred to by some in India as the food of the gods. Cannabis use eventually became a ritual part of the Hindu festival of Holi. In modern times, the Rastafari movement has embraced cannabis as a sacred sacrament. Rastafarians consider it to be their Eucharist. Cannabis is frequently used among Sufis, the mystical interpretation of Islam that exerts strong influence over Muslim practices in Bangladesh, India, Indonesia, Turkey, and Pakistan. Cannabis is a popular recreational drug around the world, only behind alcohol, caffeine, and tobacco. It was made illegal in the United States in 1937 and remains a Schedule I drug in most states today. In order to smoke the cannabis plant, the flowers must be harvested, dried out, and cured. Immediate effects while under the influence can include a euphoric state of relaxation, alteration of conscious perception, anxiety, and increased libido. With very high doses, THC can induce auditory and visual hallucinations. As mentioned earlier, some varieties of cannabis are bred for their durable, soft fibers found in the stalk. These cultivars tend to have long, skinny stems and are very low in THC content. They're extremely useful in making paper, rope, construction materials, textiles, and clothing. Hemp is stronger and longer lasting than cotton, and it's also a useful source of biofuel and foodstuffs such as hemp milk, hemp oil, and hemp seeds. Cannabis is used medically to reduce nausea and vomiting, to improve appetite, and to treat chronic pain and muscle spasms. Laboratory experiments have suggested that cannabinoids have anti-carcinogenic and anti-tumor effects. Cannabinoids have also been proposed to have the potential for lessening the effects of Alzheimer's disease, Tourette's, glaucoma, and epilepsy.